Pardon me. Didn't see you there. My name is Stephen Joseph Pulaski, and welcome to my study. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And on a cold winter's day like this, there are only two things that can warm me up, and my fireplace is not one of them. First is a glass of herbal tea. Scrumptious. I could tell you my secret recipe. We don't have that kind of time. Second thing that warms me up, poetry. And today, I am privileged to share you three of the finest works of poetry that I've come across. Three immaculately written poems that you, yes you, watching right now, would swear were written by the hand of God. And that's no exaggeration, because these three poems mean a lot to me. Some very eye-opening pieces of literature I hope have the same effect on you as they did me. The first poem is Stop All the Clocks, Cut Off the Telephone by W.H. Auden. Let us read. Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone. Prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone. Silence the pianos, and with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. Let aeroplanes circle, moaning overhead, scribbling on the sky the message, he is dead. Put crepe bows round the white necks of the public doves, let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. He was my north, my south, my east, and my west, my working week and my Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. Stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good. Very powerful poem. Does a wonderful job at replicating the feeling of helplessness and misery right after you lose somebody, and pure sadness too. I mean, that's why it hits home for, I think, a lot of people. It's Auden's most anthologized poem, so which means it comes prepackaged in a lot of poetry collections, such as the Norton Introduction to Literature, the portable edition. And it's often the most eulogized, meaning that a lot of people read it at funerals or different, states of mourning, because it's such a powerful and tender poem. And I hope and I pray that none of you watching have ever had to go through any kind of traumatic death. And if you do, if you've had that pain, my heart goes out to you. Our next poem is The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. This poem is only 16 words long, so when a poem is this short, you're thinking, oh cool, I don't have to do too much work. Wrong. When a poem is this short, it depends all on the verbiage and the word usage. In fact, these are the most important poems in a way because they don't give you a lot to work with. So you often have to provide context and provide meaning and assess these poems based on what little they give you. It's nothing to fool around with. The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. Try saying that title 5 times fast. So much depends upon a red wheelbarrow, glazed with rainwater, beside the white chickens. Again, I read it in a little bit of an exaggerated mode because the way the poem is constructed is very unique. It's three words, one word, a line break, 3 words, 1 word, and so on and so forth. So it's a very peculiar structure, if I do say so myself. But again, where is this red wheelbarrow? It could be on a farm, it could be on a plantation, it could be in somebody's backyard who owns chickens, And again, if that's the main tool, let's presume it's decades past and we don't have all the beautiful technology we're graced with today. That red wheelbarrow means a lot to somebody. It does a lot of lifting. It makes arduous jobs manageable and easier to do. It's nothing to fool around with, like I said before. And look at these words too: depends, glazed, chickens. Words that start and end with consonants, making their meaning and their statements very abrupt and very direct. It's no coincidence that our curse words in the American language and the English language actually really start and end with a consonant. But there's no place for that here. Again, The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. Excellent poem. I love it. I really like short poems, again, because they give you a lot to work with. Now, finally, this last poem I chose myself, so I hope you guys aren't too mad about that. By Robert Frost, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. It's personally my favorite poem. Absolutely love it. It's something that I've read, I come back to at the start of every season. Exquisite. Let us read. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farm horse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, and I've got promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Miles to go before I sleep. A lot of people overanalyze the poem, I think. A lot of people try to attach some meaning to it. I've even seen people try to say it's about a god. I think it's about Santa Claus. And you can laugh at that if you want, but think about it. Harness bells, horse, somebody who has to make all these promises in one night to deliver toys to good little boys and girls. I think it's about Santa Claus, I really do. Snowy evening, it all makes sense. But you can subscribe to whatever meaning you shall please. Again, my name is Stephen Joseph Pulaski, and I thank you once again for listening to me read these fine works of poetry. I can only dream one day I write something half as good as this. And again, poetry is something that's often, I think, undervalued in contemporary society. We look at it as something like, oh, that's not for me. That's of high art. I could never do something like that. Well, if somebody who looks like me can read and appreciate poetry, anybody can. Any of you, yes, you watching right now, can read and enjoy poetry however you may please. So, I leave you guys with not only 3 excellent works to digest, but the proposition to feel, not just read. Thank you again. I'm Stephen Joseph Pulaski. And thank you once more for visiting my study. I wish you good health.